Hello, welcome to Beyond the Mortgage. On our Meet the Team episode here, we have Matt. He is the boss.
No, just another member of the team.
But just getting to know each other, getting to know our viewers. They want to know who you really are aside from lending.
All
So,
right.
so can you describe what your ideal work environment looks like?
I think just a supportive one, honestly, where everyone's working towards the same common goal. That's why I get hesitant with the term boss. I feel like I'm just another part of the team. Maybe I'm providing a little guidance and direction, but I think overall we're all pulling the same way. To use the overused cliche of row the boat. We're all rowing the boat in the same direction to try to get to that same goal, which is providing excellent service for our customers and our referral partners.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. So how do you build relationships with your clients and referral partners?
Well, what's worked for me the best is just doing what I say I'm going to do. I think once you
Simple
say
enough.
yeah, it really is. I mean, it's not rocket science. It's if you say you're going to get something done, you get it done. If you say that, like one of my mottos is, uh, if you're working, I'm working. That's what I always tell all my referral partners. Um, Many times they'll call it, 8 o'clock or on the weekends or something, and
Hmm.
oh, I'm so sorry to bother you. And listen, you're not bothering me because if you're working, I'm working.
Yeah, that's a good
So
outlook.
that's establishing that trust with your partners and keeping to that word. If you're going to say it, you better do it.
Yeah, your word is going to hold more weight.
I think so.
Yeah, that's
Words
awesome.
are easy. Actions are a little more challenging.
So do you have like specific strategies that you use to stay ahead of the industry, like trends and changes?
Knowledge, knowledge and communication, I think are the two biggest things. As you see, you go in my office, I've got the finance on the TV all day, just trying to catch any tips or things that are happening because the market is very volatile at times. And there are times when it's important to get a customer's rate locked before the market spikes. So we want to try to, attack the dips, avoid the spikes in the market. And so I think just, the knowledge, trying to keep up on the latest news,
Hmm.
on guidelines, if there's been any program changes, um, that type of stuff. And then communicating that out to the team, to referral partners, to clients. I think they begin to appreciate that you are trying to help them with their job.
Hmm.
My ultimate goal is to be an asset to my team, to my referral partners, to my clients. So those are the two main things. I think just knowledge and communication.
Yeah, no, we definitely can all agree that we appreciate your communication and all the information you share with us consistently. And how do you handle difficult clients or complex loan situations?
I think the in the 21 years I've been doing 21 plus years, I think the best way is really just to listen because there's usually some reason that somebody's concerned, nervous, unhappy, whatever their terminology that they're using is.
Hmm.
If you don't listen to what they're saying, then you're not going to be able to handle that appropriately. I think some people, especially if you've been doing it for quite some time, think, well, okay, well, I know what you need or I know what the answer is, and they don't really listen to people. And I think that sometimes can be the cause of the unhappiness
Hmm.
or the nervousness is that they don't feel like you're listening to them. So I think to start with, whenever you have a challenging situation, is just to listen to the people you're working with, so you get an understanding of what their concern is. Because once you're all on the same page, then you can work towards that common goal of the home purchase or whatever, appraisal or whatever the current situation is involving, is just to find out what their true uh, concern is or their true question is before you just jump into a solution.
Yeah, that's the key part is don't jump to the conclusion
Sure.
before.
And it's hard because, again, if you've been doing it for a while, you think, oh, okay, yeah, it's kind of the doctor you go to and you tell them, hey, I got this symptom and this symptom, and they automatically, oh, well, you must have this. Well, I
Yeah,
still got more things I want to tell you about. And they just, because they think they know. So I think listening is crucial.
yeah, no, for sure. So how do you handle rejection or losing a deal?
Well, I mean, like anybody else, it's human nature to get frustrated and discouraged a little bit.
Hmm.
But once that kind of passes, I think it's important to honestly reflect on yourself and say, okay, well, what could I have done differently? What did I miss that the client needed and I didn't provide? Or the referral partner, whatever the case might be. So most important for me, beyond the typical reaction of frustration and discouragement, is really taking a look at yourself and seeing what I could have done better in that situation.
That's really good. I don't think a lot of people would really say that that's their first answer. So what's like one book or podcast you'd recommend to anyone who's in like sales or finance?
I mean, honestly, a real simple one that I was given years and years and years ago. I mean, it's an old book. It's called "Who Moved My Cheese." It's a super simple read. I mean, you could probably knock it out in a half an hour, but it's the premise behind it is things are always changing,
Hmm.
and you could sit there and complain. In the book, it depicts a mouse and someone moved their cheese, as you can imagine, and you can complain and say, "Oh, why is this different? I don't know why this is different." Or you can say, "Okay, this is different. Now, how do I adapt to be successful in this environment, or in this environment, or with this client, or with this referral partner?" Um, I think the people that are successful are able to manage those changes, as opposed to just being like, "Well, that's too bad. That's not the way I do it. So kick rocks." You have to be able to adapt, I believe, to many circumstances and situations.
Yeah, gosh,
To
especially this market right
absolutely, I
now.
mean, yeah, you can't with the market. It's settling down now, which is great, and I think that's why we're seeing more buyers coming out because it's a little bit easier to plan a purchase when the rates aren't changing up or down a
Right.
1/4% every single day. But I mean, that would be the one. Who moved my cheese? I've read it a few times now just to remind myself of the message behind it and to try to realize that you can't get stuck in your ways. Especially I've got 4 kids also, so
Ever
they're
changing.
always moving my cheese.
And eating it too.
Well, that's my son. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. So just to get a little bit more on your fun side, what is your go-to karaoke song?
Well,
You do have to sing it.
I'm singing right now. I would say, because I don't really believe that my vocals are that great.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I tried to
You
stay.
seem to have a strong voice though.
So the devil went down to Georgia. That was my go-to.
You got a
And
clip?
I do not. There are probably clips out there in the universe because there were plenty of times in my younger days before kids when the karaokeing was a little more prevalent, and I believe that was probably caught on tape by somebody.
So what would you say your genre is, like your music choice genre? Like if you have a specific genre to pick.
That's hard to say because
Mm.
that it does fluctuate. I mean, there's sometimes I'll get in the truck and put on country. Other times, whatever, depending on the day, maybe we're looking more of a rock and roll. I'm not really big into like heavy type
Heavy
stuff,
metal.
but
The head bangers.
it's I would say probably country, and then maybe like classic rock or even some more like rock, but not so like like the '80s hair bands.
Mm.
I have an older sister, a few older sisters actually, and I remember when I was growing up, that was what they were listening to. They had their Aquanet out and their big dangly earrings and stuff, and they were listening to White Snake or whoever it was. So I think that's been kind of ingrained in my head to like that stuff.
What's the most ridiculous thing you've bought online?
Hmm. I mean, there's probably been a few, unfortunately, that my wife can probably attest to. But the one that sticks out, and the reason it sticks out is because I got suckered into this thing and it never even got delivered. But it
What?
was a full size, like foam, like Bigfoot. I think it was supposed to be like a shooting target
Oh.
that you can move around. And my thought process was, oh, I can get this and put it outside the kids' window at night so they wake up and they'll be freaked out.
Why are you pranking your kids
But
like
then it
that?
never even got
Freaking
delivered. So
traumatizing.
that was frustrating. But that was probably the most absurd thing.
Did you buy
More
it like an official site or like was it one of
no,
those like
it was a stupid Facebook
shady?
thing. Yeah,
Oh,
who knows? It was
jeez.
probably coming from
It's gonna surface again
Antarctica
now.
or something, or oh, I'm sure it's
It
probably
just
on my
heard
phone.
you.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's funny. So if you could have an office pet, what would the pet be?
Oh, I mean, a goat, of course.
Why was that an obvious thing?
Well, why would you not want a goat? Have you ever seen a
Don't
goat
they
walking around?
scream?
Do they scream? Uh, Only if I guess hurt them. But I like goats. That is funny to let them. They just seem like they're chill. There's a place by my house that they've got all kinds of goats, and they must have just had a bunch of babies. There's a bunch of little baby goats running around.
Oh no, are we
They
gonna
just
have a
seem, I don't
goat?
know. They always just seem funny to me. Like they'd be kind of cool to have, and they have those big old goatees and the horns and stuff, and I don't know. They probably eat whatever paper I drop on the floor, so that would be cool too. They'd help pick up.
Okay, so if we see a goat in here sometime soon, then we'll know why.
Oh yeah.
If you could only speak in movie quotes for a day, which movie would you pick?
There's some good ones, and I am a big movie person.
Hmm.
But I mean, Forrest Gump comes to mind because there's so many there. But one movie that just makes me chuckle whenever I watch it, because half of it you can't even understand until you watched it 10 times, is the movie Snatch
I think I've
with
ever seen that.
Brad Pitt, and there's a bunch of guys, and I think Jason Statham's in it. Um, but there's a ton of people in it, like doing like little weird parts, and it's just, if you haven't seen it, I I recommend
What's a
watching it.
quote? What's a quote? You gotta give us one.
Oh man, I don't remember the exact quote. But there's a time when one guy is cooking some sausages on a grill, and the Statham's character asks him, "Hey, how long until those sausages are done?" And he says like 5 minutes. And then they go back to the other two guys, Statham and the other guy talking, and they talk for like 10 minutes. And he comes back, "Hey, how much longer are those sausages?" And he says 5 minutes. He's like, "You told me 5 minutes 10 minutes ago." So it's just that type of stupid humor, and Brad Pitt's character, he's like a gypsy, and you can't understand a word he says on purpose. It's
Oh, really? That's
and
interesting.
you can, but you really gotta pay attention. And when you figure out what he's saying, a lot of the stuff he says is sneaky funny.
Oh, it's kind of like witty.
Yes.
Oh, smart
Yep.
Alex stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I can tell why you like that humor. Would you rather fight a one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses?
I think the one horse-sized duck, because I would know where it's at. I mean, you get 100 little things running around you. I mean, you're going to get bit and whatever from all different angles, and I'm not quite as fleet of foot as I once was. So I think if I had like one, so I'm assuming if it's the duck's going to have like duck feet, not like horse hooves,
Which
right?
is a horse-sized duck, so it's going to be a duck that is
All right, so they only got
humongous.
two. But he's going to be kind of lumbering around.
But his beaks.
Well, that's true.
Bah,
Yeah,
like that hard thing.
it's like those big ducks in Mario Kart on the beach that
Oh yeah.
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's
So
good.
that's
Yeah. So I think I can maneuver around the duck and get him, or throw a net over his head so that the bill wouldn't get me.
mm, you got strategies.
Of course.
Okay, well, if you have any other questions for Matt about, loans or even fighting techniques
Right. We can do an
and
Ask Matt Monday.
strategies. Yeah. You can put them in the comments, but to see more on our channel, make sure to subscribe and like, and we'll see you on the next one.